I believe we are live. What is going on, everybody? I go by Philly Mike, and this is the Philly Talk Podcast live Jan stream. Yes, this is where we go live on YouTube and the Jan app to allow multiple people to come on the platform and talk birds with your boy Philly Mike. Shout out to everybody in the building already. Cody, Jeremy, William, Travis, LB Fizz Transport. Welcome to Philly Talk 24/7 membership. Sneaks, Trey, Antonio, Larry Jackson. Shout out to everybody in the building. Once again, if you do want to come in and talk Eagles with your boy, all you got to do is click the link that is at the top of the chat, the pinned comment section. Click the link, and you just got to, fill out download the app in Apple Store, iPhone, Apple Store, or what they call that, Play Store for Android, or wherever you're watching it. Click the link, download it, sign up, search Philly Mike, and you can come through and chop it up with me. Some interesting stuff. I dropped a video earlier today talking about Mel Kiper, linking us to Jahmyr Gibbs, not at number 30, but moving back into the second round, garnering more picks, and still being able to get a guy that we believe can plug and play. We got a couple users in the building. Shout out to Smitty Eagle, Stu Vision, always up in here. ASAP Rocky, let's bring them in. And don't be shy, come through. All you got to do is download the Jan app. The Jan app is free. It's easy. It don't cost a thing. And you could come up on the screen and talk birds. You can use your camera. You can use just your voice. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Let's talk about it. What is your take on Mel Kiper saying Gibbs in the second round, early in the second round?
I'm with that. I actually think he fits better for what we really need because he's a guy who can catch out of the backfield. He can go out there, line up in the slot, and run routes there too. And I'm not gonna lie, man. When I see him a lot, man, I see Alvin Kamara when I see this dude, man. When I watch his game tape, so I'm not opposed. That's why I said I was high on Bijan, but watching the game tape of Gibbs, Zach Charbonnet, and other guys, I'm not as high on Bijan as everybody else is. I like Bijan, but there are other guys that we can use that fit us better. And I think Gibbs is one of those guys, man.
I hear you. What you got, Smitty?
I mean, I'm not opposed to getting Gibbs, but I'm not. I mean, what all do we get for that 30?
He doesn't really say in the article. He's just saying move back, garner some more picks, and more along the Eagles style of drafting running backs somewhere in that second round. He compared Miles Sanders. Now, that wasn't early in the second round, but I don't think Gibbs, if he even makes it to the second round, is going to last too long. It's just a trade back scenario. You don't got to pay, again, where you're drafted is how much you get paid. So Howie drafting somebody at 30 where he trades back even 4 or 5 picks early in the second round, that's a different in salary and how he's looking at that. He's looking at everything, especially when you got a lump sum salary contract you're going to be giving Jalen Hurts. I don't know what will garner, but if you're telling me Gibbs falls that far and you already invested your first round pick, your first round pick, I should say, in a defensive player, then I'm cool. My whole thing is, no way could we not come out with a defensive player with the first 2 picks. I just can't see the Eagles not getting a defensive player with the first 2 picks. I'm either 2 defensive, 1 offense, 1 defensive. No such thing to me that you can go back-to-back offensive players with that first 2 picks.
I'm not opposed to Gibbs, though. I mean, he's a good back, but, I mean, I don't understand Stu when he say that Gibbs can receive out of the backfield like Bijan can't.
No, I'm not saying that Bijan can't. I'm just saying he fits the mold of everything we want out of a running back. His only thing that's you could consider his weakness is pass protection. But if he's that explosive catching passes out the backfield with more speed than Bijan, then that's really not. I mean, you got Penny and Boston Scott and Gainwell who can pass protect a little bit. So you got those guys. You really don't need another pass protector in the backfield. You need a guy that you can actually throw the ball to, running routes out of the backfield, or that can line up in the slot. He's the same as Bijan. He's just smaller and faster. I'm not saying Bijan can't catch out of the backfield. I watched him do it.
Yeah,
But
we're not
here's
gonna
my
say.
thing. But my thing is this though. My thing is also this though. I watched both of them, and their acceleration through the hole once it opens. Gibbs is a little bit quicker through that hole than Bijan is. He's a little bit more explosive through that hole with a little bit of smaller size, a little bit more speed. He's like, I say he's a taller version, a little bit taller version of having Gainwell back there. He's
Yeah,
just taller.
let me just say this though. To Bijan's defense, and again, neither here or there when it comes to whoever's on the board, whatever values better, blah blah blah. But Bijan didn't have many clean holes to hit right away.
No,
Playing,
he did.
yeah, so playing with that Texas offensive line is different than playing with the Alabama line. But I do hear you. You know, a lot of people on my last Bijan video were talking about all that jump cut, stutter step might not work in the NFL. I don't think it was his first choice to do, is what he needed to do, survive behind that line. But real quick,
Like you said, behind that line, though,
But
you
real,
said
real
behind that line, what's more comparable to the Eagles' offensive line?
yes,
That Alabama line or that Texas line?
and again, but you can't say that. You can't say that Bijan won't run through the tackles if it's available to him, because it wasn't available. He will have the luxury of playing with a line he's never played with. Just like we say, oh, Jalen Hurts didn't do this, that, and third in college. You know what I mean? He didn't do it in the NFL then because he had it.
It
Yeah,
depends
well,
on the surrounding cast. You're right.
correct. And that's what I want to say there. But shout out real quick to Yeet B with a $2 super chat in the live stream YouTube side. He said Carter and Gibbs or Bijan and maybe Kancey. But I like what he did there, right? You know, people who want a star running back is on Bijan. But I'm glad he put, when he put Bijan, he went to his second pick as a defensive player, actually a D tackle on that D line. And then with his first one, Carter and Gibbs. Carter, you know, I heard Adam Schefter today talk about Carter's best situation is going with the Eagles, not just because we're talented on the D line, but also like mentally, off-field issues. You got veterans on this line as it pertains to Fletcher Cox. Because shout out to Joe Castro, I saw him tweet. You know, Fletcher was talked about to be immature before he came out the draft, and he came here. Eagles organization cleaned that up if there was really any immaturity. He's been a staple of the Eagles, great on the field and off the field stuff. And then you got the two Georgia boys who can reel Jalen Carter in. So I think, you know, if I'm Carter, he got to be crossing his fingers that he does drop for whatever off-field issues that the Eagles can get him. Or maybe the Eagles move up to 7, 8. I don't know what that would cost and if that's in their forte. But I do like what Yeet's saying. If, you know, the Bijan and the Gibb fans are not going away in the sense of they want a really skilled running back to come in and be a part of what we already have on this amazing offense. When you look at the line, the wide receivers, the quarterback, the tight end, you got D tackle and a running back and D tackle. I do like the mixture. I would be really upset. And again, offensive line is still offense. If we went offense, I just would be upset with the first two picks. I think you got to have a mixture of defense in there and or go both defensive. Picks
you gotta attack each side of the ball on that, and I keep that. And if you really think about it, that's how he's done the past couple years. With our first two picks, he's always went offense then defense, except for, you know what I'm saying, okay, he went offense when he grabbed Smitty and then he grabbed Dickerson. But for the most part, he's always went one offensive, one defensive in our first two picks. So if I feel as though if he keep that balance, I don't see where we slack off at as far as production or performance as a team, or especially if we go O-line, D-line, or we go D-line skill position player. We don't lack off anywhere. As a matter of fact, if we go D-line offensive skill position player, we actually improve because we're adding what we lost at the defensive line. You know what I'm saying? We're adding something more to the rotation, something else to the rotation. And at the same time, on the offensive side, you're adding another weapon as to replacing something.
Yeah, I agree there, and I also think that you still got to focus on what the board is showing. You know what I mean? Like no matter if you want to go offense, defense, defense, offense, defense, defense, it really comes down to best player available, the options to trade back, and what all scenarios present itself. Because how he's going to be on them phones, playing shoots and ladders like he normally does. Plus, I really do think there's going to be a trade back scenario, whether it's 10, whether it's 30. For the simple fact, I don't see how we just sitting around doing nothing on day 3 when it's 4, we don't pick. 5 round, we don't pick. 6 round, we don't pick. I don't see
I
him
don't
sitting
see
around.
how we not sitting on his hands for 3 straight rounds. I wouldn't be surprised if one of those picks get traded back or we trade 30 out of the first round before the draft even comes, just to actually pick up more picks and try to secure more capital. Because if we're gonna trade one of those first picks to get more capital, what are we waiting for? Unless we're waiting for somebody that's desperate at the last second. That's the only way we can wait for it.
Well, I will say this, when we traded back or when we traded with the Saints last year and we, got all the stuff we got, I was happy with it. But a lot of people talked about why didn't we wait a little bit to possibly finesse a little bit more? Because I do think during the draft, people are more on edge. They see the board, how it falls. I think it can help you at times and also hurt you at times if a guy who they thought would be at a certain position is not there. They're not as eager to move up and down. But I can see us at 10 and, maybe the run on quarterbacks ain't as huge as we thought. Like, I think it's going to be there, but you just never know. Maybe one of these premier quarterbacks is starting to linger around 7, 8, 9, and he didn't get picked up. Like maybe it goes Bryce Young and or CJ Stroud and Bryce Young, but Anthony Richardson's still there. Will Levis is still there, and I think Will Levis is going to be outside top 10 anyways. That being said, what if there's a guy who falls now that makes somebody who's really interested in them come up and do
really
something
I think
strange
one
for
of
a
them
piece
will.
of change?
I think one of them. I think one of them will fall because lately people have been talking more about Hendon Hooker than Will Levis and Anthony Richardson. So I think Hendon Hooker out of Tennessee, I think he could actually move up because people think because before his injury, bro, he was one of the top Heisman candidates. They actually had him picked as the Heisman Trophy winner before the college season started, and then he got injured. And if you really go back and watch the game tape, it's funny that I keep thinking about this. If we can get this dude in the 3rd round, if we can get Hyatt out of Tennessee, that receiver, because it's rare that you find a guy his size with his speed when teams actually know that this is what you're doing. We know you're running the 9 route. We know all you're doing is running a straight go route down the field, but it still ain't nothing you could do to stop it. And they're all Hendon Hooker. Like, if you go back and watch before his injury, watch his tape, Hendon Hooker throwing passes to Jalen Hyatt against Alabama, and this is before Alabama started to fall off these last schools. I'm telling you, there was nothing they could do about it. They knew Jalen Hyatt was running a straight go route, but the way he ran the route and how precise Hooker put the pass in there, you couldn't stop it. And Hooker was one of those quarterbacks. He's not a run around the pocket like athletic guy. He's a pure pocket passer. So Hendon Hooker might jump up. One of those guys is going to fall for sure.
Yeah, real quick, before we get Smitty in here, want to hear him. I do want to say this. If you are in the live stream on YouTube, click the link that is pinned at the top of the live chat. Download the app, whether you're on your phone, computer. The app is free. You sign up real quick, search Philly Mike call-in show, and join the live platform so you can come in and give your take real quick. Yeet B with another super chat, a $10 banger. He said, my point is, you're going to get something like Carter or Bijan at 10 and Gibbs or maybe Cansey at 30. So the smart and safe move is to get Carter, if he's there, at 10, because Gibbs will most likely be there at 30, unlike Cansey. And I do agree with you. I think Cansey is one of them guys
I
who
agree.
can
You're
go in
right.
the mid-20s. Like, I do think that teams moved him up on his board since that combine. I think he's a new generation, not new generation, but the D tackles, you see the Milton Williams now. Milton Williams started coming on pretty strong. That smaller, athletic style, but physical D tackle, Javon Hargrave as well. He's not as small as them, but Cansey's a weird one. Like, if you play mock drafts and do all that stuff, he's always there at 30. But I do see guys like Cansey, guys like Nolan Smith. I see Nolan Smith going into teams, to be honest. I think Cansey can follow suit early 20s, 25 latest. Maybe even Dallas looks at a Kalijah Cansey at D tackle at 26.
Yeah, I done heard a couple of them talking about it too.
Yeah.
Hey, I think 10 is a one of those spots where it could get tricky, because I think Tampa, Washington, and like a few other teams sitting behind us might want to jump up for Will Levis. But everybody keeps saying Anthony Richardson is gonna fall. My take again, I think Anthony Richardson might go to Carolina.
You think he's what?
He's going to Carolina.
Number one?
Like I said on Twitter, I don't disagree. I can see that happening too.
The only reason why, I just know that, they ownership, they like those type of quarterbacks. They like the bigger, athletic quarterback. I could just see them going out and getting Anthony Richardson off potential alone.
Yeah, and if you got somebody that, I think Frank Wright in this situation, I think Frank will actually sit back and take the time with this kid to actually make sure before he throws him in the fire. So, yeah, I can see it happening, bro.
Let's just say this, though, real quick. This is not the Carolina show, but to talk about that for a second, if whoever Frank Wright takes with the number 1 overall pick, whether it's Anthony Richardson, C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young, if the other two are better, he's in trouble. You know what I mean? He's in trouble because him
Not
and his crew.
Not necessarily because
unless
he
it came from upstairs. Unless it came from upstairs. But then
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But if
That's
it
what
came from
I'm
upstairs, then the upstairs might be in trouble because upstairs is not the owner, the GM. Here's my thing. You had all this time with your coaching staff, your scouts, everybody who's involved to look at the quarterback position and to pick the best one that you believe. Now, again, there's been a lot of first-round picks. Look at Goff. Look at Baker Mayfield. Blah, 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 blah. However, Carson Wentz, he was second overall pick. But at the end of the day, to watch the quarterback you pick not be as successful as the number 2 and 3 guy that goes off the board is gonna hurt. And again, quarterbacks are one of the hardest things to judge. We've seen there's like a less than 50% rate of first-round quarterbacks being legit anyway. So I mean, it is what it is. But to have the first overall pick, and to get it right, cool. Get it wrong, and people are looking around at you like, man, this could be a franchise-changing pick, or it could be we done messed up,
But I think
Wow,
Tampa and Washington gonna call us draft night though.
Say it again.
Hey, can you know
Washington
and Tampa?
Tampa are gonna call us about that 10th pick when Will Levis go to Fallen.
I just thought about something when you said that, though, Mike. I just thought about this. Other than the fact that Carson was a part of the team that actually won the Super Bowl, can you imagine how he feels that he is less successful in his NFL career, him and Jared Goff, than Dak Prescott?
Yeah.
And they all were drafted that same year. Pick one, first overall and second overall against the 4th rounder.
Yeah, I do like what Teddy Bruschi said, Teddy Bruschi said about Dak and has Cowboy fans in their feelings. But real quick, Cool C, how you doing today?
Doing pretty good, Mike. How are you doing?
I'm hanging in there. Look, Monday at 7 o'clock is when we're supposed to do these, but I was
Right.
sick and I felt kind of under the weather the last couple days, so we moved it to Thursday. It's not our normal Monday Jan Stream app, so I'm glad you were able to get on. But yeah, so
I like the hair, Cool C.
yeah, new style.
Yeah,
Thank
new
you.
style,
Thank
new
you. It
swinging.
was birthday gift to myself.
Yeah, happy belated, sweetheart.
birthday.
Thank you. Thank
But,
you.
but real quick, we do got 2 super chats in the building. Shout out to my guy Bold Brew with the $4.99 super chat. He said, I see how we trading up for Will Anderson. Need another pass rusher. Let's talk about that, right? We heard a couple days ago that 6 teams called up the Arizona Cardinals and inquired about that number 3 pick. That number 3 pick for a team that needs a quarterback, probably a quarterback. But the number 3 pick, if the Eagles were involved, and I say if because I have no evidence that they were, it would be for a guy like Will Anderson. It would mean that we're sold on Jalen Carter, but we just think Will Anderson, I'm not saying it's better. They're both physical, and I think they were 1 and 2 best talents in this draft. You don't got to worry about the off-field issues with Will Anderson, and I do think you can impact a football game more as a pass rusher. And we've seen Will Anderson play inside a little bit. Strong guy. What is y'all take on Will Anderson? And I know, again, we don't have any evidence that we called it, but how shocked would you be if Howie trades up to that 3rd pick, not knowing exactly what we got to give up, but drafts Will Anderson as a just, premier pass rusher to go along with what we already got on this team?
Will Anderson probably the most dominant player in this draft right now. I don't see nobody else touching him. If we was to trade up to 3 for that, but honestly, when I seen that, right, Mike? Hold on. My opinion was we probably would trade right to the edge. Let somebody else trade the 3 to get the quarterback, and then we sit at like 5 or 6 and pick him off because I know he's gonna fall, right? Because 1, 2, and 4 is all quarterbacks right now, right?
Yeah, but what if whoever trades up to 3, if we don't trade the 3 and somebody else trades the 3, what if they end up getting him and or that person at 3 gets a quarterback, so then maybe 4 or 5 and they're trading out and they end up getting them. So
you're right. Because I was just thinking,
tough.
like, if you trade the 3, just me personally, like being like the person I am with football, I'm like, you got to trade up for a quarterback, right?
Say it again?
I'm like, us watching football so much, how many times have you seen somebody trade to the top 5 for a defender?
Yeah,
Not
not
happy.
happy.
See that.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
So for somebody to
That's
trade
why,
the top 5,
and that's what I was saying. That's what I was thinking to myself, like trading up to 3 for a line. First of all, you thinking about this. This is a linebacker we really talking about. When have we known how it is, or the Eagles organization, period, to draft a linebacker in the 1st round, let alone trade up to number 3 to draft one? That's number 1. Number 2, if we gonna trade up, we better be using assets from next year's draft and not this year's draft, because we ain't got
so many.
Right.
Yeah,
We only have 6.
So we can't. If I find out we've traded up and we used assets from this year's draft to do it, I don't give a damn who we drafted. I'm mad.
We don't got many assets this year. We only got 6 picks.
Exactly.
If we use any
Exactly.
assets,
So that's
we
what I'm
end up
saying. I
way
don't care who we draft. I'm mad.
I mean, if you draft a guy who eventually goes in the Hall of Fame, ain't nobody gonna be mad 3 years into that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
eventually
you might
you'll
be
be
mad in the
unmad.
moment, but it is. You draft a guy, you draft Will Anderson, and he goes out there and gets 17 sacks. We all forgot whatever happened. Bygones are bygones for sure. If he comes out year 1 and leads our team in sacks, but that's neither here or there at the moment. I agree with you. You're gonna be like, bro, we don't got many more picks, but Bo Brew. That's a bold statement in the sense of, we don't have many picks, but Will Anderson is a different type of animal. Appreciate the super chat, my guy. We do got another super chat from Larry Jackson, a $4.99 super chat. He said, Philly 500 proposed trading the 30th and the 2024 second round pick we got from the Saints to move up and grab Bijan. Would y'all do that? I feel like
No.
that'd be the move.
No. Why are you going to trade up that? Why are you going to trade that up to get a running back as what I just stated, you got Gibbs that you know will be there at 30, most likely, and you got other guys coming out in this draft that can literally be just as productive and really not only just as productive behind this O-line, some of them could be even more productive. You never know.
Yeah, but listen, again, if you're saying a guy who's not as talented as Bijan could be more productive because of our line, that's not necessarily saying that Bijan won't even be even better. You can't use our line. What I'm saying is
I'm gonna keep it all the way 100. I'm gonna keep it all the way 100. I don't trust the health and safety of running backs from that conference. They never last long. I feel like that's a waste of pick.
That's a better statement than saying
that didn't last. Please
say it again.
Name me one that did.
Ricky Williams.
Really, he lasted.
What he did? He left on his own accord.
The weed took him out the game, bro. The weed took him out the game.
He averaged 1,000 yards. What are you talking about?
Like I said, did he last?
Yes.
He lasted. How long? How many years? How many years was he in? He would no. He was active in the league. How many years did he play?
Over 10. Go look it up.
No, Ricky didn't play over 10. Sorry.
He played his first 4 years for the Saints.
And how many after he was still active he was still active, but he was not on a roster and not playing, bro.
He played.
I don't got you. I remember it.
He played.
I don't gotta look it up, bro. I was still in my 20s when that happened.
Yes, but look, regardless of that, Bijan Robinson, you can't. That's like at the end of the day, the success
like he the Josh Gordon of the running backs.
Huh?
He the Josh Gordon of running backs.
Yeah. Right? There's different things that took Ricky Williams out the game rather than being hit too much. Plus, the running backs.
I'm not saying physically. Physically, he could have probably stayed.
You can't speak about somebody's mental before you know. You don't know what Bijan. First of all, Bijan got that Jalen swag off field. Just
like
by
I said, name me one that physically lasted long enough.
Out of that conference, I have to go and look. I don't have it off the top of my head. There's definitely got to be a running back that lasted out of that conference.
Who lasted past the second contract? Who got re-signed and lasted past that?
I don't have the information in front of me, but I guarantee you, there's somebody from that conference in college that got a second contract, whether he was a first-round pick, a fifth-round pick, a fourth-round pick, a third-round pick. It's not. No way. Go ahead and Simony. I know you're looking stuff up, so you do that for me. But to the super chat real quick, and I do want to get Cool C's take on it. Here's the thing. Trading the 30th pick and the second-round pick in 2024 that we're getting for the Saints, I wouldn't. Again, it's when you do it and how you do it. You're not taking no capital away from this season. That would mean the organization really believes that Bijan is just going to change the world for the Philadelphia Eagles. And I want to, and 30th and 24, how far is that getting me up? Is that getting me to 25, one pick in front of the Cowboys? Is that getting me to 23 to 22? Is that getting me to 28, 27, only a couple picks up? I don't know where the draft, because, what
was the capital we giving up, a first and a second?
Yeah, they would be giving up. Well, we'll be giving up a first for a first and next year's second that we got from the Saints. Cool C, what's your take on that?
I don't think something like that would really happen. I can see how he's wheeling and dealing, for maybe, a trade, and then, for next year, but not for this, no. Plus, I don't think if we did something like that, then where does Jalen Carter fall in with this? because then we might be missing out on him.
Well, no. He's
that's
talking
30.
about using that 10th pick however we can defensively, right? Like if Carter's there, use it on him. If he's not there, you draft another defensive. Maybe Tyree Wilson's there. Maybe they move back, and that's when they go maybe a Nolan Smith, a Kalijah Cansey. I know a lot of people don't like Van Ness, and I'll be upset if they draft him that early. But they're saying they drafted a defensive player with that 10th pick or somewhere around the 10th pick. And then as the draft is going, you see Bijan on the board at 19, Bijan on the board at 20, Bijan on the board at 21, Bijan on the board at 22. Eagles used their 30th pick to go up to 23, and so it's 30 for 23, and we throw in a second-round pick for next year to get Bijan. So we would have got that defensive player with the first-round pick. It's just moving 30, 5, 6, 7 spots up to get Bijan before anybody in the late 20s would get him. That's the question Larry Jackson is talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that happening, but, the way that Howie is, we all know that he's not the greatest when it comes down to drafting. This is not his strong suit. His strong suit is with the money. But, I mean, could I see it happening? Yes. If he listens to his scouts, maybe. I mean, we all know he doesn't really listen to the scouts.
He's been better of late. He's been better of late.
Little better, yeah. Yeah, last year, okay, I give it to him. He blew us all out the water last year. But I mean, is it possible? Yes. We'll see.
Well, see,
I'm not very confident.
But let me just say this: we done talk, not just saying we, but whether it was the fan base being so loud, we done talked Howie Roseman into the SEC, and now we telling him to leave the SEC to go get Bijan Robinson, right? So it's funny though, right? We talked Howie Roseman to draft these Bama guys, these Clemson guys, these LSU guys, these Georgia guys, and now we saying, hey Howie, forget that, go out, step out the SEC and go get Bijan Robinson. So that's interesting. Shout out to Larry Jackson again with a $5 super chat. He said, I can't see Bijan not lasting though behind this line. I totally agree there. It's a different animal, especially with the RPO when we run with Jalen. He wouldn't be taking as many hits as Ricky. I totally co-sign that, Larry, in the sense of Jalen is going to help any running back, especially a guy as dominant as and as physical as Bijan Robinson, and so is his offensive line. Again, all the stutter step, juke moves, jump steps that he's doing, he's not doing it because it's pretty. It's because there's a defender in his face as soon as he gets the ball. If he got Landon Dickerson and Jason Kelsey mauling people and there's holes, he gonna take it. I seen him slither through some holes that weren't there until I seen him go through it. I said, I guess that was the hole. The guy got vision for days. So does Gibbs. But I'll go vision goes to Bijan. I go long speed goes to Gibbs. Juking, I still give it to Bijan. I say catching goes to Gibbs. It's there's some good stuff there, but I agree with you. And the running backs, first of all, back in Ricky's day, it used to be one running back that does it all. If you draft a Bijan, you want him to be the 3-down back, do it all. But we're going to pass the ball. Again, back in Ricky's day, too, quarterbacks only threw the ball 15, 20 times. Now you got quarterbacks throwing at 35, 40, right? It went from a run back in the 1990s when he was drafting with McNabb, right? 1998, 1999. You ran the ball 35 times no matter what. Now.
99. 98, 99.
98, 99. Mm-hmm.
Even great running backs like Saquon, Ezekiel, they run the ball a nice 25 times. It's like, oh, he touched it 25. That's cool. Back in Ricky's day, 25 was the low. The low. So running backs are definitely being able to stay more healthy in today's game. Everybody's really staying more healthy. It's just the way the rules make it out to be. And shout out to you with the $2 super chat.
Not if they get hit hard. Not if they get hit hard enough in the flats trying to catch a pass.
Hold on real quick. You said Ricky Williams did not play 10 seasons, right?
He was active.
He played. Hold on. Wait.
He was active. He was not playing, dude.
I don't want to talk about it. It's right there. He plays 12, 10, 16, 16, 16, 12, 1, 16, 16, 16.
He was on rosters. He wasn't playing. He was under.
Bro, the man got 700 yards in every season he played in, bro. I don't want to hear that, bro.
Okay, then what? Okay, then what is he doing? He wasn't really lasting. He was on rosters. He was on injury. He ain't last. He was injured. He was injured most of the time, bro.
He was only injured one season. The season he played 16 games, except for in 2005.
He wasn't that. No, he ain't played, bro. I promise you, he didn't play.
All right, look.
Stats can't lie.
Bro, they got him on the roster for 16 games.
Bro,
he ain't playing.
You gotta have stats, bro. You gotta have stats.
Go look at each game from each one of those seasons. I guarantee you there's some he ain't got no stats. Because he ain't on the field.
Let Mike
talk. Stu, you didn't say he played every game that year. If he got 500 yards rushing because he only played 7 games, that's still he was playing in the NFL that year.
He wasn't lasted. Why was he not playing every game then?
It's only one season in his career where you could tell he didn't play, and that was in 2011 when he played with Baltimore. They say he played 16 games, but he only had 98 carries for 444 yards. Every other season that he started, bro, he had 1,000 yards, 1,012.
Go look at the game, okay, Smitty. Go look at the game stats from every one of those years. I guarantee you, he ain't got stats in every year.
But Stu, we also.
I guarantee you, he ain't got stats in every game in every one of those years.
Listen. We also talked about the fact that running backs in 1999 are different than running backs in 2023. It's a different ball game.
And before you said that, I even said he was on rosters listed as active, but he was not playing.
Regardless.
For you to have 700 yards, you had to play something.
Stu Vision, listen closely. Look, forget Ricky Williams. There's another list that he provided for us. He said you forgot Adrian Peterson. Again, I don't remember exactly where AP came out.
I give you Adrian Peterson. I give you that.
What about Sproles, AP, and he said Cedric Benson and Holmes
was injured? How often was I'm not denying what he's saying, but how often was Sproles injured?
At the end of his career.
He was injured throughout his career, not just at the end. Before he got to us, he was having injury problems.
This man, you're pretty much saying no one's allowed to miss a game or two in a season?
I'm not saying they're not allowed. No. That's not what I'm saying.
My man trying to say
no. See, this is what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you can go back and you can go through each one of those years that these guys are active. I guarantee you.
Jason Kelce. I guarantee Jason Kelce strong.
I'm not saying they gotta be. I'm just saying if you go back and you look at each one of these guys through every years of their career, they've missed at least 5, 6, 8, some games like that. They not durable, bro. I'm telling you. They gonna miss more than a third of the season. They gonna miss that.
Sproles' career was great. AP's career was great. Ricky's career was great. And so was Holmes' career great. They all had great careers. So listen, we're not talking. Anybody can get injured.
Oh my God!
Hold up, let me just say this though. Look, the running back we would draft will be on the roster for 5 years, maybe more. We're not talking about we need a running back to be playing every single game for the next 12 years, or we failed as an organization. Like, what are we doing here?
What's the position on the team that gets injured the most?
Running back, maybe.
They get hit every play. Obviously, they're gonna.
But let me just say that. First of all, I don't even know if that's statistically true to say. But just to give you your point, I don't know if that's statistically true, right? And even that being said, in today's game, they don't run the running back the same way. They just don't.
Yeah, a lot of them get hit out there in the flats or get hit running routes. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying all of them do. I'm just saying some of them do.
You don't got a Jason Kelce career.
No,
you bum.
Bro,
you big bum.
You got to think about it. If that was the case, I would say. If that was the case, I would say, what's the Joe Thomas from Cleveland? That guy 10 years straight in the without that. I would say something like, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying a lot of running backs early in their career, drafting them in them early rounds, you're not going to get the most. It's very rarely that they're not hurt within that first, second, and third year. All 3 of those years, 9 times out of 10, they know most likely hurt. Go back through recent history and look and tell me I'm wrong.
Zeke wasn't hurt.
Ricky
Really?
Williams wasn't hurt.
Zeke wasn't hurt his first 4 years. AP wasn't hurt his first 4 years. Like now we're gonna talk about first 4 years. Like, hold up,
They all like. Hold on, I said it's very. I literally did. Y'all not hear what I just said? I said it's rare that certain guys, but it's most of the time. If you go back through history, those running backs, year 1, year 2, year 3, most of them injured.
Nah,
that is what I just said. That's literally what I just said.
This man said we can't draft a running back because he might get hurt.
No, I didn't say you can't. See, then once again, you take it. I never said you can't do it. I just said that high, bro, it's basically a waste of a pick.
Nah, but again, speaking with you all about running backs, this is the first time you're bringing that up, that the reason you don't want to invest an early pick on a running back is because they have a chance of getting hurt. And first you didn't say, but first you said that running backs out of that conference get hurt. Now you're saying running backs in general get hurt.
And I still haven't changed from that either.
Hey, my man's list. My man dropped a nice list on you.
Y'all gave me one person that's legitimate. That's Adrian Peterson. Everybody else, you go back through their career and you'll see that they was hurt. Everybody else, you go back through their career, you'll see multiple years they was hurt.
Well, hold on. Listen, hey, just do this. Smitty, did Ricky Williams his first 4 years have 1,000 yards each season?
Except for the rookie year, he had 888. Every other one, and then his 4th year, he had 1,800 yards rushing.
Seems pretty durable to me. First 4 years, over 4,000 yards rushing. Sheesh.
5,000 because he had 1,800.
And then what?
Oh, he had
No. We talking about the first 4 years. You switch it to
did he not miss games during those seasons?
Oh man, it don't matter.
You can miss as many games as you want. If you getting 1,000 yards,
it does matter. Hold on. Y'all keep taking small parts of my whole argument. Y'all just, I want to point out, now you point out this part, but then now you want to point out this part to make that point. No, I never said. All I said was that early, you get less play out of them because you got more chance of the injury, because the injury happens where they're on the shelf more often than not, more than they are playing.
Okay, well, let me say this.
There are a few examples out of that conference where y'all say, okay, this guy did it, or this guy did it. Name more than those.
Well, let me just say this.
Y'all gave two examples.
Okay, let me just say this one thing real quick, though, before we get B-Dub and BLSG in here. Well, let's flip it a little bit, right? What is the one position that if you're drafted in the first round, you automatically start most likely? Running back. Because we seen wide receivers sit, we seen offensive linemen sit, we seen DB sit, we seen other positions in that first round sit. But why
were those guys sitting?
Play week 1.
Why were they sitting? Why were those other guys sitting in other positions? Those guys in other positions, why were they sitting out? Because there were guys in front of them that were better. That's why.
Well, guess what? But at the end of the day, the easiest position to just come from college and play up to par is running back. That's the easiest position to translate.
Hey, Mike.
Okay, cool. Ask Reggie Bush if that worked out.
Hey, B-Dub, how you feeling?
Ask Reggie Bush how that worked out in the game against Philly.
Wait, let's get to our newcomers real quick.
I mean, when you guys were talking, you brought up Ricky Williams, and Ricky Williams didn't really want to play football like that. So
this took him out the game.
You know what I mean? So that's a little bit different. But how you guys are talking about running backs, I think nowadays running backs are more used differently. You know what I'm saying? Especially in our system. I don't really see running backs really getting hurt like that. They usually have muscle tissues and when's the last time a running back got hurt in the game and was missing multiple games? I'm not sure. I'm asking you.
Christian McCaffrey,
No,
Saquon
for the Eagles.
Barkley,
I'm talking about strictly for the Eagles. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Miles
Miles
Sanders had his fair
Sanders did
share
it.
of injuries.
But did he like?
I
But
was gonna
like,
say
was it
He
Miles
like
said
had his fair share.
major injury.
Major
Sproles
injury.
did for us.
Yeah, but
Okay.
Sproles again, he got his injuries in his 30s.
Matthews, Jordan, remember we had Ryan Matthews for a while. He got his. Shady started to get his for a while too.
Yes,
so-
but you're talking about them on their second contract, closing into their 30s. At the end of the day, we can get off the whole injury stuff, but I do want to say this because Larry Jackson did drop the $2 super chat, and it comes full circle, kind of how B-Dub said and kind of how I spoke about it after you first initially talked about injuries. He said, let's be honest though, the tackling ain't the same. Again, from tackling to usage to everything has changed. When you were drafted as a running back in the 90s, you were running the ball 35 times every single game. Now, the only running back that hit 30 last year probably was Derrick Henry. You know what I mean? Or the last 2 years. Even the best running backs in the game run the ball 25, 26 times as a high. So it's the game's changed. It's a passing league. You got quarterbacks throwing the ball 40 times. You're only allowed to run the ball a little bit anyways. But I hear you in the sense of, because I'm a firm believer that you don't draft a running back high because other positions are valued more in the sense of, most likely, the way the NFL's trending, it's going to be hard to get Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, any first round or close to first round running back. It's going to be hard to get them under their second contract. I understand that our window of Super Bowl contention is different because we the bleeping Eagles. That being said, that factors in, but an offensive lineman, if you draft the right offensive lineman at 10, he's on your team for 12 years. If you draft the right defensive lineman, he's on your team for 12 years. If you draft the right player at multiple other positions, they're on your team for multiple years, and that's where I think organizations value other positions over running back. But, if there was ever a time where this team or other teams switch, the future of win now, a lot of teams going heavy in free agency to say, I want to win now. The win now movement has recently started, I would say, in the last 10 years. So we'll see what people do. Look at the Niners. The Niners went and got CMC because they thought they were in win now mode. We'll see where that affects them in the near future and blah, blah, blah. But,
Hey, Mike,
That's going to hurt them.
You stated Adrian Peterson in his first 4 years, right? Yeah. Hold on, wait, because I want to prove Stu.
No, I even said Adrian Peterson was different. I even said that guy was different.
1750, 1383, 1300 flat.
Hold on, I even admitted. Hold on, Smitty. I even admitted Adrian Peterson. That's a different breed.
So
I admitted
not
that.
Ricky Williams for having almost the same amount of yardage on the ground.
But Adrian Peterson was one of those dudes that even late in his career, you was looking at him like, wow, this dude could possibly run for 1,400 yards every year, even after that ACL surgery. You was I think after that ACL tear, he came back and ran for $2,000 that year. So That's why I said Adrian Peterson, I admit that. He's a different breed, bro.
But hey,
Adrian Peterson's a different breed.
I'm gonna give you some leeway though, right here, Stu. After that 2,000-yard season, he did start getting a lot of injuries. You can see it on the stats. After that, he only had 2,000-yard seasons.
Yeah, but again, the new movement.
He's different, bro. He was different after that injury for that year, bro. He was just different. He came back on a mission, man.
Yeah, real quick though, shout out to Yeet with another $5 super chat. He said center, offensive guard, offensive tackle, then running back for most injured. I'm about to step out the Zoom call and join this during this show. Shout out to my guy Yeet. Definitely come on if you haven't already and you're in the backstage, whatever. We also got a super chat for D Dragon. He said, yes, sir, we back. Congratulations on getting the channel back. I say we draft Robinson. Nobody will be able to stop us. And again, that's the mindset for the Bijan fans say, this offense will be unstoppable. And I'm not here to disagree with them there. And again, if they announce Bijan's the pick, I'm not going to be mad. But if they announce he's not the pick, I'm not going to be mad as well either. Because I see, my mind tells me defensive first, but I'm not going to be mad if Howie says, you know what? I talk about zigging and zagging. Let me really zag to the left and go ahead and do something like that. But Joey B, How you feeling? Then we got BLSG in here. I forgot my man BLSG been waiting.
What up, my guy? We chilling?
It's good.
How you feel about this? The conversation that has been going on the last. We don't got to go right to the running back, but just some of the stuff that has been said on the show so far.
Hold on, what you smoking on, Joey B?
And on some lightsaber.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Listen, I ain't against taking a running back at all, but that ain't where it's at, dog. We gotta focus on the trenches, stick to the script, run the fundamentals like how we've been doing the thing, and we're gonna be straight. We're gonna be straight, dog. The running back, third round or later.
See, I'm not the only one to feel like we can wait on that, man. Don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna say don't take Bijan. It'd be a horrible thing. No, I'm not saying I'm down on Bijan. I like Bijan, his skill set, and what he can do. I just think in later rounds or later on or whatever, you can get guys that can do what he does, be a little bit more dynamic in certain areas, and still, or matter of fact, there's one that guy Zach Charbonnet out of UCLA. I like his physical style, how he's patient physical runner. I like that guy. I think that's the kind of guy we need as a running back in the backfield, a one-cut physical downhill guy that when he takes some contact, he always, if y'all realize, he always falling forward.
Yeah.
I think that's another kind of running back we need. And we can get him in like the second or third round.
Yeah, real quick, I want to hear BLSG, and I know BLSG's on the side of not, don't go running back early and blah, blah, blah. And I agree with it. That's been my motto forever. I just think that the narrative's been built in a way that if there was a year, this will be the year to how he does it. But I'm a betting man, and I still bet he won't do it. I still think the trenches is where he's focusing on. I think defensive trenches and defensive players in this first round is calling his name. If you look at who we brought in Bijan, you brought in the offensive line, and then it's been all defensive players. So I still think Howie's looking that way. BLSG, what's your take on it?
Well, first of all, what's going on, everyone? How we all doing this fine evening, man?
we a little agitated.
A little chaotic, I know. It's talking about the running backs. I mean, what are we trying to create here? Are we trying to create a running back factory, or what are we trying to do here?
It's my fault, little bro. I started a little too early.
Hey, it's all good, Stu. It's all good, man. It's all good. But yeah, honestly, overall, in terms of like what I think, it's not that I don't want Bijan Robinson in this draft. I just don't want us taking him at 10 because, I mean, we need to like address more of the defensive side of the ball. Even though we did get players back and did sign some players, I wouldn't mind Bijan at 30, but we are not taking Bijan Robinson at 10. And honestly, if Jalen Carter's not there at 10, which people think that for some reason in the world, Jalen Carter's only going to be dropping down to 5th overall to the Seattle Seahawks, which it could either be him or Tyree Wilson going over there. But honestly, someone that's been standing out and has been continuing to improve closer to the draft is honestly Myles Murphy, who has definitely been a great coming from the get-go. He will get those tackles for loss. He will tackle the running back. He will get to the quarterback. He will do whatever it takes in order to make plays for your defense. And then obviously at 30, I obviously got O'Cyrus Torrence. Again, we need to look up at our future because I can't even name an interior offensive lineman in next year's draft because Jurgens is going to be at center. And then I want O'Cyrus Torrence coming in at right guard since he did not give up a sack last year while he was at Florida. So when it all comes down to it at the end of the day, that's kind of how I see this going. And again, this is assuming we don't get Jalen Carter, but if we do get Jalen Carter, it's going to be him and O'Cyrus Torrence with my 2 first-round picks. And then in terms of the running back, man, I want Jahmyr Gibbs with that second round pick. That's I have no hate towards Bijan Robinson. It's just that we don't need to go running back that early. I think we can address that on day 2 and grab Jahmyr Gibbs, who averages almost like 5.5, 6 yards a carry. And that's about the same thing with Bijan Robinson. So you can get the same amount of production with Jahmyr Gibbs that you can kind of get with Bijan Robinson. Even though Bijan Robinson is more of an explosive runner, Jahmyr Gibbs can come in, be that day 1 starter, and hopefully be your running back that you're going to be looking towards this year and the future.
I got a small question. I am for Bijan, right? But every time I've ever said Bijan, he comes with a trade out. I don't want him at 10. But if we were to trade out to 16 and somehow get a first-round pick, you telling me Gibbs in the second round is worth more than Bijan in a first-round pick in the first?
Yeah.
Well, anytime you trade back and get more, you look at it as Bijan and more. But again, it could be another skill player. Like, low-key, I've been looking at if we would end up trading 10 back, like, I got my eye set on Nolan Smith. I really do. I keep looking more and more and more, and I do like Nolan Smith. And he can play some linebacker. He can. He's guarded the pass. And listen, Sean Desai's a little different than Jonathan Gannon, but the scheme's the same. We dropped Reddick back multiple times this previous season. So if you got a guy, and listen, I'm telling you right now, you're going to get more dropping Nolan Smith back, covering tight ends and backs out the field than you did with Hassan Reddick, for sure. Nolan Smith is an animal against the run. Him being hurt the last 2 years is the one thing that's in the back of my head, like, but I mean, we saw what Landon Dickerson provided in the NFL so far, a clean bill of health, so not going to fake wood there. Nolan Smith is my guy. I'm looking at a lot if we trade back. And if we're talking defense. And I do think, again, as a betting man, as to help this Eagles sure things up, defense is going to help as much as Bijan or an explosive running back helps this already great offense. The defense is what let us down in the Super Bowl. The defense is what we lost the most pieces on, even though I'm not really sweating what we lost because I like what we brought in from our team alone and kind of shirt up. But I still think defense, a defensive-heavy draft will do justice. I do want to say this, though. Larry Jackson with a $10 super chat. He said, Mike, you a fool with the jokes, but also what moves would you make to get back to the bowl now knowing Jalen's locked up? Possibly going to be locked up for the long term. Also, a running back could prolong Jalen's career if we got him in the 20s. Look, an amazing running back is going to could take a lot of Jalen's carries away, which ultimately we want. We want Jalen to be successful carrying the ball less as it pertains to design runs. I still want Jalen to get freaky in the back when a blitz comes and he spins off him and runs for 20. You know what I mean? I just don't want it to be 17 runs, 12 of them design runs against a Chicago Bears team in the cold. So I think any running back we have on the field right now can help if we give them the ball. So it's up to the coaching staff to draw it up differently. But maybe they do if they have a superstar back. I'm not too sure. And last but not least,
I got a question real quick, though, that I asked the other night when I was on with Castro. How would y'all feel as if, say, the tight end out of Georgia, Darnell Washington, suppose he falls, say, to like the second or third round? How would y'all feel about not drafting an offensive lineman to replace Lane Johnson, but instead drafting Washington that you can have for a couple years behind him to learn to play that offensive tackle spot, sort of like with Jason Peters, who came out of college that was drafted to Buffalo. He was an undrafted free agent to Buffalo as tight end. How would y'all feel about that?
Converting him to
stud.
Go ahead,
that dude's
Paul.
a stud. He's straight up. He's a straight up beast. I mean, he's athletic, and we could have like a Zach Ertz, Dallas Goedert type of thing. You know, when Dallas Goedert came in, he was kind of young, getting in his feeling, whatever, and to have them two incredibly athletic tight ends. But just so you know, this is Eat and Stu. What's going on, man? What's going on?
Hey, bro, look. Like I said, no. I'm glad you came in because everybody keeps talking about it. I'm like, y'all gave me two legitimate examples. Y'all gave me two legitimate examples. I said, okay, Let's go back 25 years. Give me more than just 2.
So I feel. Look. This is my
Because
argument for Bijan.
I'm an old school guy. I'm 43. I've been watching it for a while. I've been watching the game. And that's what I'm saying. Give me more than just you. You can't give me 2 examples and think that's gonna work with me.
I got you. It's just the reason I'm such a Bijan, I guess, advocate to some degree, and I'm not taking him at 10. Like if Jalen Carter is not there, I don't want Lucas Van Ness. I think that dude's overrated. I don't know where the hype comes from. I don't want him. Miles Murphy, maybe. But honestly, like, I'm willing to trade back. I'm trying to do something like this. Take the 10, give it to the Bucks, especially if Will Levis is there. Give it to the Bucks for 19 and Devin White. Call it a day.
You know what? I'm not opposed to that. That's not bad because you're getting somebody at a position. Yeah, you're getting somebody at a position. You're getting a veteran player at a position that can help upgrade the second year guy and Nakobe Dean that can help coach him up. But at the same time, 19 and just Devin White, nah, you're in a position that I'm in. You got to give me more than that.
Well, I'm just saying that would be the foundation of the trade. That would be give me a fourth. Give me something. But like that way.
I was about to say because we gotta have something else for later in this draft, or possibly something in the stash for next year that we could trade up into this year later rounds.
But that another thing is people are sleeping on the Falcons, and I think the Falcons might even be they might take a quarterback. They've invested a lot in the defense. I mean, they just got Okuda. I don't think Okuda's anything, whatever. But they got Okuda. People forgot they got Calais Campbell. They're in a really weak division. They just finished bottom of the barrel. They're gonna have an easy schedule. Like they're gonna be competitive. So like with that said, even the Saints. So I think that second round pick for the Saints is going to be a back end pick. Them two are going to rush for the division, and whoever makes that, obviously now that pick is not really as valuable as it would be, which is why I wouldn't be opposed to trading that pick in this draft.
Hey, so what was the deal for Devin White?
Just the foundation would be like the 10th for the 19th and Devin White, and then you work in some 5ths and 4ths and something like that.
What's the potential of next year though? Because he won $20 million though.
Well, and that's another thing that I'm like, because Devin White wasn't as good as T.J. Edwards last year in coverage, and T.J. Edwards was paid, what did he get, $7 a year or something like that? And Devin White wants 20. So it's like, if we can.
And he's already getting paid 11 this year.
Well, you would have the Bucks handle most of that money. If they could take 8 off the books for us, then we could work something out. You know what I mean?
Well, just think of this real quick, and I do want to get B-Dub and Cool C in here too, and Joey B as he eating that pre-workout, that post-workout, you know what I mean? But I do want to say shout out to my guy, CJ. CJ with the $1 super chat, and I want to say, look, CJ Gardner-Johnson thought he was going to get a big contract, right? And he looked and he came off a all-pro type year when you look at the games he played, interceptions, coverage at times, just playmaking ability, and he took the reality deal of 6.5 with a chance to get to 8. So Devin White talking about this 18-20 million could realize that it's not really a possibility. Now, Raekwon Smith got that $100 million deal. Shout out to him. He balled. He's one of the premier linebackers in the game.
Him and Edmonds, right?
Yeah. But
I think the Gardner-Johnson thing, I think that was similar to who was that tight end for the Saints when he played with Breeze, the stud?
Graham.
Taysom Hill.
Graham.
Jimmy Graham.
Jimmy Graham. He wanted to get paid as a tight end. He wanted to get paid as a wide receiver because they were making more money. So I think that was the whole issue. So now he's probably going to play. He's probably going to play safety over in Detroit, and so he can get his money. I think it's something like that. You know what I mean? It was just I played this, you played that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I heard
what I'm saying is though, Devin White. Look, CJ watched. what's his name from the Bengals who went to the Falcons, right? Safety, somebody help me out.
Jesse Bates.
Jesse Bates.
Bates.
You
Yeah,
watch Jesse
Jesse.
Bates
Another
get the contract that he again, that's the contract C.J. Gardner-Johnson wanted, right? And so Devin White just watched Raekwon Smith and Edmonds sign a $20 million a year deal. But just because you watched a linebacker like C.J. watched the safety get that deal, don't mean you going to get that deal. You know, he is coming off a bad year coverage-wise.
It's a lot of these dudes in the league at certain positions. They about to get humbled real quick.
Yeah.
But go ahead,
It's
Cool
a
C.
lot of them about to get that humble pie. They about to eat that.
How you feel about Devin White or Devin? Let me get your take on the Devin White. I haven't heard from you on that talk.
Well, as far as Devin White is concerned, just because of the amount of money, I guess that's my main concern about that. And I don't see Howie spending that kind of money. You know, considering, you know, I mean, yeah, we've freed up some cap space, but we still need to keep some cap space, you know, available. I don't see that happening just because of the money situation. Now, if he really wants to play for Philly and he's willing to take a pay cut, which I have a feeling that that's probably going to be a no, but I would say probably no to that.
Yeah, you're not saying no to the player, saying no to the situation.
No
and
to the
pretty
situation.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Player wise, yes. I mean, I get it, top tier, but money, no.
Yeah, and then you also look at pay your linebacker or pay your corner, pay your linebacker or pay your star defensive lineman. You know, that all matters too, because we saw guys like T.J. Edwards, an undrafted rookie free agent, who's been backups to bum linebackers, play at a solid level. Why?
Man.
Because his bookend corners, because his pass rush. When you got a team getting 70 sacks, it's make your linebacking job a lot easier. You know what I'm saying? B-Dub, what's your take on that?
Yeah, I agree, man. Like I think. Well, you talk about with the Devin White thing, or what are you saying? What are you asking me?
You can do that, but if you had any comment on previous stuff we said, you can.
Oh, okay.
filter that
Well,
in as
I'm just saying. Well, you just said like the previous linebackers that T.J. Edwards has brought up. I don't know why I just thought of it was Alex Singleton.
Alex Singleton and Nate Gary. He was behind them boys. He's
Yeah,
behind them boys.
Yeah, man. That's what I was just like, wow, we came a long way. But on the
Nate
Devin,
Gary, the White Snake.
Hey, wait, Alex. Let me just say this though, B-Dub. Alex Singleton, if you look at Pro Football Focus and some of the ratings, right? He had a decent season with the Broncos, so kudos to him. But there was a time where we were like, get Alex out, get Nathan Gary out, and TJ was on the bench. There was a reason why. He looked good this year, but there was a reason why. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. But I like with the Devin White thing, like she said, I'm scared of the money. But if I believe in Howie, if Howie really wanted him and he he'll get him, I guaranteed if he came to us, it'd be a different season than he had last year. Because check it out, man. Look what was going on in Tampa Bay. Like Tom Brady had his old fiasco with his wife, and you know that wears on the team, man. You know what I mean? Sometimes you need a different change of scenery, you know. And we were a Super Bowl contender, you know what I mean, runner up, you know. So why wouldn't he, you know, play like a dog for us? But in that sense, with the money, the $20 million and all that, nah, man, these cats is gonna start getting humble real quickly, like Stu said, man, because you can't be pocket watching out here, man. You gotta just do your due diligence, you know, do what you can do on the field. You out here watching everybody else's pockets, but
yeah. Joey B, what you got, Joey?
Thank you, man. We trying to build this team up, and we already know, like, the only team that can give us smoke is KC, dog. Like, so I'm thinking, like, we just got to do whatever we got to do to make us better, make us be able to beat them. Like, I was just thinking, eating my food. Like, I don't even know the last time we beat KC. Like, anybody know that off top? No.
They've been in the 90s since Andy Reid. I know that for a fact. Since Andy Reid been over there.
Andy Reid, I think it was early 2000s was the last time we beat Kansas City.
So, like, just off that, like, I'm just stressing.
They got our number.
Like,
you don't think Buffalo's a little challenge?
No.
You know what would have been nice if we had a running back that could just take the game over, you know? And keep the ball.
or if we had a defense that could get one stop in the second half.
No, I know. That was embarrassing. But we don't got to worry about that.
Me
Hey,
and you
Mike.
almost started
Hold on.
arguing, Bald
You
Eagle.
guys
We
are
almost started
depressing me
arguing,
now.
bro.
Hey, Mike. I agree with you that the defense let us down, but I think our running backs let us down in the Super Bowl too.
Yeah, Miles
A
did.
little bit, yeah.
Miles fumbled on the first carry and just checked out low key. Like, I love Miles. I didn't want him to go. We kind of knew he was gonna go, but like Kenny G balled out in the playoffs. Like, we can't
Yeah,
forget
but I
what
think a
KG
lot of that
did in the
What did
happened.
he
playoffs.
do? Like I've been trying to
think
figure it out. Like other than the Giants
I-
game, I ain't seen nothing.
No, I think it's because with Miles,
He had
I think it's
41 yards
because
against San Francisco and 25 yards in the Super Bowl.
that's what I'm saying. I think with Miles it was
On how many
because
touches?
when that happened,
I think
he heard
7 in
them
the Super
guys
Bowl.
he heard
I can't
coaches
remember
on the
exactly.
sidelines talking. I think he heard coaches on the sidelines talking, and he let that get to his head.
Who,
You
Miles?
fumbled the
Can't be
first play.
fumbling
You
the
fumbled the
Super
Yeah,
first
Bowl.
play in the
Miles. I
Super
think he
Bowl.
heard
You're
coaches
gonna be
on the
thinking about
sideline
it.
talking.
Unless you're Jalen Hurts. Hey, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this real quick because we're not going to be on here too much longer. Shout out to everybody who's tuning in and everybody who's on the screen. And if next week we're going to do these every Monday at 7 o'clock. I was sick on Monday. That's why we're doing it on Thursday. But we're going to do these every single Monday at 7. I mean, the Sixers play in the playoffs. I might have to switch a day or two because of the Sixers. Even though now Josh Harris is about to own the Commanders. Lordy, Lord. But I do want to get y'all take on the on Jalen Hurts' contract, right? In the sense that we've been hearing rumors the last couple of days that we might see some legit Patrick Mahomes type deal, a team-friendly long-term contract where the money's going to be there for his pockets, but how he's going to be able to really maneuver the cap each year to fit playmakers on this team while still paying Jalen Hurts because of the contract. How do y'all feel? Like, do you believe it? Do you see it? Do you see that coming through like
all
a
y'all
10-year deal?
talk about that first. All of y'all talk about that first. I'm gonna let y'all
Go ahead,
talk about that.
Cool C, you can go first.
I could see that happening. With a 10-year deal because that's what I was reading about was the 10-year deal, like a Patrick Mahomes. However, I can also see them probably trying to negotiate maybe a little less time with Jalen Hurts only because of what happened with the whole Carson Wentz situation. And so I could see them probably coming down from that maybe a couple years. But we'll see what happens.
All right. Go ahead, Bald Eagle.
It's tough because it's obvious that it's benefiting the Chiefs as much as it is. But, it's a huge investment, obviously. I'm almost tempted to just be like, give me 6 for 300.
Hold on, bro.
Give me 6 for 3. You're not locked in forever, but you still have them for a long time. By then, the cap's going to open up. The team's going to look completely different, but 10 years, and I hate to say it, but Jalen Hurts he's a mobile quarterback. So for 10 years, that's a lot of time to get hurt. Whereas Pat Mahomes is a lot more time, not to bring up the whole injury thing, but Pat Mahomes is a pocket passer who likes to use his legs. You know what I mean? So it's a little safer to use, that 10-year kind of. And his whole thing is getting it to Kelsey, who only does like 5-yard routes, so he's rarely getting hit, So it's like it's easy for them to make that call, But give me like 6 for 300 and, pretty 225 guaranteed or something. I'm just spitting numbers out there.
No, I hear you in the sense of like it makes sense. And real quick, from a player standpoint, as much as the 10-year deal sounds great and all that, Jalen could be thinking I want shorter deal. Well, like if he's not looking, I think the longer the contract goes, yes, it's a bigger investment. The longer you're attached to this player, whether it's injuries, this, that, and the third. However, it's more team friendly because of how he can do.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be some ghost years, or you can move the heavy cap from here to there. And I don't know all the ins and outs, but there's definitely more flexibility to it. But Jalen's also taking a hit because if he takes a 4-year contract or 5, that means when he re-up, he's still young enough to get another big-time contract, some more guaranteed money. So I think quarterbacks also like it where you get 4-year deal. Then by the time you're 27, 28, you're on the market for the same team or a new team for another nice, 40 to 50 million with multiple guaranteed. You know what I'm saying? So the player benefits from taking smaller term deals too, if again his career stays good and healthy and stuff like that. But B-Dub, what's your take?
Man, I mean, I see how you guys are throwing out all the numbers and everybody's worrying. I was thinking to myself, man, we got Howie Rosen, man. It's going to work out, guy. You know what I'm saying? It's going to work out. He's gonna make it to where everything's gonna be okay, so we don't have to stress. So that's all I'm pretty much just gonna say about Jalen. I'm not worried about it, man. The only thing I'm worried about is him staying healthy. That's it.
Hey, real quick, B-Dub, to tie into that real quick, Howie's on a 3-year contract, and this is now year 2 of his 3-year contract. What you trying to extend Howie Roseman for?
Oh. Well, give him what he wants. I mean,
said give him a life.
Give him what he wants. I mean, hey, I trust it. I trust him, man. I trust him. Hey, they got a good relationship. Everything's gonna work out, man. We'll just pray about it, man. Everything's gonna be all right, y'all. Everything's gonna be okay.
He said,
everybody come to perform. We good, man.
I hear you. Smitty.
First off, I like the 10 years, man. I really think the 10 years is a great, because it's not 10 guaranteed years, because technically speaking, it's like, 6 guaranteed. The last 4 have an option to restructure. I don't think we stuck as much. And I think like looking at Patrick Mahomes, his contract, he really don't start hurting the team until like 2028. Like, I think Jalen Hurts with a 10-year deal, maybe with the same type of kind of guarantees, but maybe a little bit more guaranteed money, it'll be all right. Because 10 years, you can get out in 6, you can really get out in 5 if you want to take the cap hit. That's basically what you would give your second quarterback anyways, right? 5 years.
Yeah, something around that. And you're right.
I ain't mad at you.
Correct me if I'm wrong before we ask Joey B and then we get Stu Vision. But correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't Pat Mahomes this year only like 38? He was like 38 mil against the cap or something like that?
39.6.
Wow. So, I mean, like, he wasn't even 40 plus. And, there's going to be some heavy cap years. And that's when the GM for the Kansas City Chiefs got to figure stuff out. But, top quarterback in the league, sign his big-time $500,000 deal, and he wins the Super Bowl in the year where he's only worth 39 mil on the cap. So he was still able to finagle some stuff around it. But, Joey B, what's your take on the Hurts contract situation? Where you see it going or how you want it to go, Ish?
I would like the 10 years, but I don't know if I will pull the trigger on that. Bottom line, we already know Jalen is that dude, bro. Like, give him the bag. He gonna ball. He gonna ball out. He already working. Him and AJ Brown, you already know they like this. Bro, that shit must sting so bad, bro, what happened in February. That L must be making those guys work so hard, dog. Give him the 10 years and just let him go and let him do his thing. And, bro,
He's a maniac.
I think they're going to come through this coming up season, dog. They're going to go crazy this year.
Yeah,
that's my take.
I love it, and I'll co-sign that. Like, I think every NFL player has a level of competition into them and competitor, I don't even want to say competitiveness or a
We got you.
Competitiveness. Competitive nature.
They got that, but like Jalen Hurts' level is different. He never gets too high, too low. But if there's one thing that's gonna to drive somebody who's already well driven back in the lab, like we heard Nick call him a maniac. He's already in the gym working and working and working. It's losing a Super Bowl, and he says straight up, like, I've been there. He lost a national championship. He also won a national championship. So why not finish you lost one, you won one in college. You lost one already, and you got whatever contract we give you to go back and get one, preferably in 2023. You know what I mean? Preferably sooner rather than later. But go ahead, Stu.
All right, so check this out, y'all.
Wait, let Joey B finish.
Oh, go ahead, Joey B.
Yeah, one more thing, my bad.
Now you good?
The thing is, that leadership, dog, it's going to elevate all the talent on the team. So that's the thing. They know they got to suit up and match this dude. Everybody looking at Jalen. Nobody want to be the weakest link. They've seen this guy work. They better suit up, man, because this guy is for real. So that's it, man. Jalen is more than just the throwing, the running, the QBs. He's a force multiplier. He's a force multiplier, and that is priceless.
It's as simple as this. Like, I'm gonna say this, because Joey B and Bald Eagle, Dub, Cool C, and Smitty, just like you, Philly Mike, just like LB and everybody else in the Philly Eagle content creation, Jalen Hurts is him. Period, point blank, end of conversation, full stop. Jalen Hurts is him. Period. You give Jalen Hurts 10-year, $480 million contract, $250 million guaranteed within the first 6 years. Therefore, by year 5, year 6, you coming back to the table, you taking that 230 that's in the back end that wasn't guaranteed, you moving that up, you extending him another 5 years, therefore he's got that other 230 million, total 480 million that's guaranteed throughout 15 years. Jalen Hurts is not, nor Nicole Lynn, his agent, is saying no to that. You guaranteed $480 million in your client's contract within basically the first 8 to 10 years of his career.
My man said we're not talking about. My man said we're not. He said he talked about he playing for the next 15 years.
We ain't play. Hey, look. Jalen Hurts has already established in his first 2 years as the starting quarterback for this franchise. Jalen Hurts is him. He has established that. So you lock that up for as long as you can, as long as you need to. You don't play around with that. It's the same thing the Kansas City Chiefs did with Patrick Mahomes. They realized, look, this is that dude. We ain't gonna play with this. We gonna lock him up now for the long term, as long as we need, and we got him under control for at least 4 to 6 years. He's under our control, and before the end of that, we coming back to the table to keep him under our control for at least 12. You don't play with this. You keep Jalen Hurts, like Patrick Mahomes, like Joe Burrow, has established, I am him. Stop playing with me.
We still got to see Joe Burrow's contract. Joe Burrow, they're taking their sweet old time too. So that's the top two race.
Hey,
the Burrow and Hurts contract.
The hell with who care what the Bengals is doing? The Bengals ain't doing nothing but costing themselves more money. We need to
get
go
ours
ahead.
done first, is what I'm trying to say. I would like to see the Hurts contract come out, because then Burrow can compare notes. But again, if you're asking me, and again, I don't really know Joe Cool like that. It is what it is. But there's already been talked about the Patrick Mahomes contract, and I think it shows two things. It shows that you believe he's him, which I do, and I think the organization is behind him. And it also shows that Jalen Hurts wants the money, but he also wants to win. And when you have a contract that can be flexible for a cap guru like Howie Roseman, while the cap is going up, while being a contender in the years that the cap is going up, you put yourself in a prime position to have your quarterback, have your foundation on lock. We got so much capital to just build this team up the right way, because free agency is not sustainable. You can't just pay everybody. You have to have good talent on the cheap, especially when you're paying your quarterback, even though the cap's going up and this, that, and the third. And I think we're just in such a great situation, because teams that got their quarterback, they're not really sure what their GM is doing and how aggressive their GM could be. Other teams that got their quarterback, they're still looking to help that offensive line protect their quarterback, or give him a weapon, or do this and do that. We done gave him weapons, and he showed what he can do. We done secured the line. We seen what that could do. We're just in a very good spot to go into 2023, and actually to go in every single year that Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni and Howie Roseman are the three leaders of this team because it goes from the quarterback who's the coach on the field, the coach who is the coach, and then the GM who still orchestrates the whole thing. And I love when you have them three on lock, you're feeling pretty good. And I think that's what the Eagles got.
They got it. They not only that, they got the GM that's got the mindset and connected with the coach and the quarterback. So that right there, that just locks us in a lot more long term.
Right.
So who's the highest paid GM?
I don't even know their numbers like that.
If it ain't Howie Roseman, it's a damn shame.
But it doesn't matter what you pay your GM. Like that comes out of Lori's pockets, but it doesn't affect our caps. So go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead, Lori.
Well, okay. That's all I needed to hear then. Okay.
Like I said, if it ain't Howie Roseman, it's a damn crime. Cause Howie, like LB say, that ski mask Howie.
Well, if you want to be technical, it would be Jerry Jones because he's the owner / GM, right?
True,
so
true.
And we want him to stay right there. Stay right there. You know what I mean? We got 27 years.
I'm mad the Giants got rid of Gettleman.
Settlement, yeah? His name was Settlement.
I'm mad they got rid of him.
They don't really make no money. It'll be John Snyder from Seattle.
Really?
Huh?
He made $3.75 million.
Oh, okay. So we got Howie on
Bill
a bargain.
Belichick as a GM, he makes 7.5.
So we got Howie on a bargain then.
Yeah, but Howie's 3-year deal. He's on year 2. So Howie's contract's coming up. And let's just say this: if in the 3-year window he went to the Super Bowl and goes back and wins it, well then he's definitely gonna run the rock.
Here's how I look at Howie's contract. If he pull off signing Jalen Hurts to a 10-year deal, you got to at least extend him to year 6 of Jalen's deal.
Yeah.
You got to.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm with that.
So with that being said, listen, we're going to do these shows every Sunday at 7 or Monday at 7, preferably Monday. Right now we got some Sixers playoff basketball. I'm going to be streaming that, you know what I mean? I haven't streamed Sixers game like I was because my schedule is messed up, but I still sit on the couch and watch the games, you know what I mean? That being said,
I'll be looking for them streams too, Mike, because I ain't going to lie. I'll be looking for them calls.
I hear you. But again, shout out to everybody who's still watching. Hit the like button if you haven't done it. Shout out to everybody who's come on here. A lot of the same faces, but Joey B, we haven't seen you on here. And Bald Eagle 14. Now I'm going to remember every time Yeet. I know who you know what I mean? It's good to see the faces behind the super chats and or just the regular comment section. It's good to see the faces. But make sure you stay tuned. We're going to do this every Monday or Sunday at 7 p.m. For the remainder of the all season. Well, each week we get closer to the draft. After the draft, we have more and more to talk about, and we will find a way to have these throughout the season. I don't know. It won't be on Sunday and it won't be on Monday then. We'll have to switch it up because of Monday Night Football and Sunday football. But we're going to have these so we can have the Eagle Nation talking throughout the season.
Quick suggestion. Quick suggestion. I don't know if you and LB will be up with it, but y'all should do this for a Go Talk call in.
We should. I'll have to hit him up on that.
Yeah, I'm just a suggestion.
Yeah, I'll hit him up. We were supposed to do something this week, and I kind of was messed up. But we got our stuff coming out, and I'll definitely mention that to him. But before we get out of here, we're gonna let everybody get one last quick note on just the conversation we had. If they have one more topic they want to low key bring up and just say a point, not really ask the whole question, but just clarify something like. This has been talked about in our offseason this offseason, and I want to kind of clarify my take on it, and then we're going to finish it up with that. So whoever want to go first, let me know.
Cool C, start us off.
Well, the only thing I was actually going to say, which was kind of brought up about Jalen Hurts' contract, is that we still have to remember that he's still developing, and I don't see him continuing just to be a running quarterback. He is probably going to end up developing into a pocket quarterback, just like Donovan did. So I think we need to keep that in mind, as well, for his longevity.
Great take.
That's an awesome take.
Smitty, you got anything real quick?
Nah, I ain't gonna start no more shit, Mike.
I hear you. I hear you. He just say, come check out my YouTube channel. You know what I mean? Go check out Smitty's YouTube channel if you wanna throw that out there real quick before we get up out of here.
Hey, yeah, man. 4133 The Pod, Smitty Eagle 373 on YouTube. Same name. Ain't nothing changed, man. Check me out, man. Subscribe, like, you know. But before you subscribe to mine, make sure y'all hit the like button on this.
Got you,
Appreciate
guys.
it. All right, so we're going to have B-Dub go next, but real quick, shout out to Mr. 89 for the $5 super chat. He said, cheers to you being monetized again, and the Sixers avenging the Eagles in Philly and the Union. Mind you, the city of Philadelphia, look, as much as we were up with the championship appearances, but I ain't never see a city lose the soccer championship, the MLB championship, and then the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like, they 3 different sports in Philadelphia. Went to the top of their league game and lost. So it was a fun ride for every Philly sports team. But dang,
was it
bro,
that brought
somebody
that up?
gotta
We were
win.
there. We were
Hold
there.
on. Who
We
brought,
were there. We were there.
like, who brought that up?
Mr. 89.
Ban him from the stream for bringing misery upon us like that.
Nah, but he said the Sixers, who start their playoff run this Saturday at 1 p.m. against the horrible Nets. He's saying the Sixers are going to avenge us. But go ahead, B-Dub. Give us your last take before we get out of here.
Man, I just want to give shout outs to all you guys, man, and good shit, good stuff on your getting your monetizing back, man. And I appreciate you guys giving me this content too, because it's good little therapy sometimes. You know, I'm out here in the Northwest, man. I ain't getting no love out here for no Philly fans. There's a little bit of us out here though, but I just appreciate you guys, man. And you know, we got a good thing coming, man, and hopefully everything works out. Good luck to our Eagles, baby. That's all I gotta say for the rest of the night, man.
Sweet and simple. I like it. Joey B, what you got before we get out?
Shout out B-Dub. I didn't know you were in the Northwest. I'm in the Northwest too. I'm going to be at the Seattle Eagles game for sure.
Bet.
And then, so I'll be there. And then for everybody watching the stream, just like Philly Mike says, drop the muscle emoji.
Muscle emoji, let's go.
Muscle emoji. And, I just want to say thanks to everybody, and man, I'll see you guys soon.
Appreciate it. Go ahead, Bald Eagle 14 or Yeet.
Yeah, man. Shout out to you, man. Cheers again for getting monetized again. Maybe you can start chipping in on that Jalen Hurts contract. You know what I'm saying? And
we definitely helping it out. 15% of all proceeds go to the Jalen Hurts Foundation. You know, he's gonna get way more money than I could ever make.
Out the roof, man. Out the roof at that point. But well, real quick, man. What I found interesting today, Saquon came out saying he's not signing the tag. Now, I'm not gonna open anything back up, but if the price is right, Howie's notorious for his little 1-year deals. Now, if Saquon's willing to come over and say, hey, now we got an extra draft pick. I'm just saying.
I think that'd be bad juju.
I don't see him coming on a 1-year deal. He trying to get something long term. That's why he's not signing that tender.
I feel you. If he were,
it would be nice to stick it to the Giants just for GP.
That's what I'm saying.
He loves pissing them off.
Like, I'm not gonna lie, with that idea and LB talking about Zeke for a year, I'll be thinking about it just to stick it to a division rival. But then I think about it. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know.
I don't know, but all in all, I think a dream scenario, a dream draft is getting Carter at 10 and Gibbs at 30 and not having to move at all. Just kind of sitting there, getting the players we want. And I think with all this Hendon Hooker hype, I think it's very possible. I think Levis, Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, and Anthony Richardson could all go in the top 10. And, because all that hype that he's starting to get now, and, who knows? But I see it's becoming more and more realistic that Jalen Carter is at least in the bottom half of the top 10. So if that's what happens, get it. Make it happen, and then get Gibbs at 30. Call it a day. I'm happy with that draft. Whatever happens after that, it is. what it is.
I would love that right there. And again, there's a scenario where he falls with us, but now I'm starting to be worried about Seattle, the Falcons, because as much as I think the Falcons should take a quarterback, so according to their beat writers, and there's some people that do Eagles content that got family that live in ATL, or they do live in the ATL, and they are around the team, like literally host for the Atlanta Falcons. They love Ritter, whatever his name is, Ritter.
Yeah,
So,
Desmond Ritter, yeah.
Desmond Ritter, I guess they're going to give him the go. And so Jalen Carter, Falcons, Bears, and Seahawks kind of scare me. But Stu Vision, what you got before we get up out of here?
All right, first of all, shout out to everybody in the chat section. Make sure y'all hit the like button and send that muscle emoji in the chat. You know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all, my man Philly Mike, get out there for everybody. I'm glad you back being monetized, Mike. Bald Eagle 14, Joey B. Pleasure meeting y'all and chatting with y'all. I would love for y'all to be in the stream more often because, hey, this barbershop talk, these arguments and stuff, it's just us exchanging ideas and how we feel about different things and hearing how we think about it. I don't owe no animosity to nobody about it. We can raise voices, yell, talk, trash, cuss at well, let's not cuss at each other, but talk all the trash we want, but it's all in Eagles love for me. To be honest with y'all, man, if we can come out of this draft with either somebody in a defensive interior or in a defensive end on the line and an offensive skill position player, whoever it may be, Bijan, Jahmyr, Jackson, Smith-Njigba, another plug-and-play guy that nobody's thinking about that I really think Philadelphia should think about if Jalen Carter's not there and you got to trade back to pick up more draft capital and Jackson Smith-Njigba is there, that is a plug-and-play guy in the slot. And by the end of his contract, you got A.J. Smitty and Jackson Smith-Njigba. You can get rid of one of them for extra draft capital later on in the future. One of them you can get rid of. Two of them you can sign. Maybe nobody looks at it like I do. That's why it's called Stu Vision, damn it. I'll holler at y'all later. Philly Mike, Bald Eagle, Joey B, B-Dub, Cool C, everybody in the chat, Smitty Eagle, my love, everybody. I'll holler at y'all because my nephew a little mad at me down here in the yard. He ready to play some football. He literally was asking me an hour ago to come throw the ball with him. And I told him I was doing this. I told him, give me some time and we'll go do it. So he looking at me with this strange look on his face like, hey, what we doing? Like, yo, let's go.
And I literally told my wife that this one's only going to, she's like, every time you say it's going to be an hour, it's like almost 2 hours. It's like, nah, this one's going to be an hour. We'll be off by 8. And here it is, 8:42. You know what I mean? So shout out to the wifey who holds it downtown, Julie Brown.
Mine mad at me because I ain't take the dog for a walk.
you got too many people mad at you. I took the kids out for ice cream before I came on here. That's why I was almost late. So I still got to get my family time in. But shout out to everybody, Eagle Nation. We gonna be rocking every week, 7 p.m. Sunday, Monday, and the regular videos, live streams, all that good stuff. Cause we back monetized, so we gonna bring some more lives, different styles. But until next time, y'all know what time it is. We out. Peace.